Good morning, boys and girls. You are where you want to be. You are where you absolutely need to be. Iron Bruce's Perfect Picks. As always, peeps, we have done the homework. We have done the research. We have broken down the game film, hours upon hours in the film room, leaving no stone unturned to get you the nuggets, to get you the information so valuable, so critical, so crucial to the outcome of these games. You cannot afford to miss a second. You are going to listen to the show, you are going to go to the window, and you are going to make the cash. Such an easy formula. 3 ginormous games on the docket today. We are going to get to them all. We are going to cover them all. A little bit different show for you today. We are doing, people keep asking me, Iron, are you covering all the games? I just said 3 ginormous games on the docket. We will have our regularly scheduled Sunday show for you. So a little bit different today. We're going to give you the rundown on the show. Super fun. 3-game teaser parlay for you today. The peeps love, and credit to the producers. They came up with that years ago. And I finally get to say kudos to the producers. Having said all of that, before we get to the show, let's introduce you to the crew. Behind the glass and spinning the dials, our executive producer, is Maddie Sure-Shot Aldershaw. Our technical producer is the Loch Ness Mobster. Sound check technician in the house telling us we are green light and good to go is DMAC14. As always, peeps, our lines are brought to you unofficially by Bet365. Know your limit, peeps, and play for the love of turkey. Play within it. Brought to you again this year by ScriptoBall.com. For you newbies, this is all for you. You go to the site, you check in with the lovely Elsa. She will custom design your ball. Hey, had you gone to Scripto Ball last week, you could have had your own American Turkey Day ball for today. Wouldn't have? Fantastic. Don't forget the gift cards. Elsa takes care of everything for you. ScriptoBall.com. When your balls just have to be scriptoed. Brought to you again this year by the award-winning BarryUncovered.ca. We've told you, peeps, if you want to know what is happening in the city of Barrie or the county of Simcoe, there is only one site you need. It's BarryUncovered.ca. What was happening at Barrie Uncovered this week? Fantastic. Last Sunday we told you at the Queen's big Christmas fair, over $1,100 raised for the youth. What was that? Mobster.
Youth Haven,
Thank you, Mobster. And super treat today, Mobster live in the studio. We'll get to him later. Hope that doesn't cause a rush to the exits, but we will get to him later. And over $1,000 in toys for Family Connections, and fantastic job by them. BarryUncovered.ca. And have I talked to you about Infinity Printing? I know I have. For 11 weeks. I've been telling you about Infinity. You check in with the guys and gals at Infinity. This is going to be like your own Thanksgiving. You will be so thankful when they take that project off your hands, bring it to the finish line better and cheaper than you could have ever thought possible. Infinity Printing and beyond. All right, that's going to take care of the legal beagles. As mentioned, 3 ginormous games on the docket today. We are going to get to them all. We are going to cover them all. Now, we will not have today for you the big board review. That is being saved for Sunday's show. However, we are clipping, as we mentioned last week, at a nice 563 for the peeps. You are in the black. No mailbag today, but what I do want to say is we've had all morning. Now, we're saving the mailbag, of course, for Sunday. But all morning, the peeps have been chiming in. We got young Cole Edwards telling us he's tuning in to the special Thursday show. He knows he can't afford to miss a second. Andrew Scavarelli, don't get nervous. Andrew, we'll have you to that window in plenty of time. SMAC222, one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. He's on his way over to the and have I told you, we are at the fabulous Barrie Country Club. SMAC222's got it on. The peeps are here. in droves. We've got good friends of the show, Go Home Bay. You name it, they are here. You got to come down. It's still open. Say hi to Kaylee behind the bar. Pours the biggest drafts you've ever seen. You don't want to miss that. Special menu. Sure shot. What's on the menu today?
I'm not sure.
That's great. That's some super prep there. Anyways, fantastic menu from what I hear. You don't want to miss any of that. All right. We are going to do a minute with the mobster for you today on our very special American Thanksgiving Turkey Day. Very nice. All right, Matthew, that was great. All right, thank you. Before we get to the games, 3 ginormous games on the docket today, we told you. By the way, we are doing our fabulous 3-game parlay. I'll always say at the start of the show, though, play that parlay with caution. It's tough enough in this business, peeps, getting them right one at a time, let alone jamming 3 of them together. But it's going to be fun today. So before we get to the games, without further ado, all right, boys and girls, you have heard the sultry tones of the pipes. That can only mean one thing, a return of a minute with the mobster. And the good-looking brute to my right is the mobster here live and in person. Mobster Week 12, and welcome to the fabulous Barrie Country Club studio.
Fuck me. I could have bought about 20 beers when I was back home. You never told me I had to get a mortgage to buy a beer in this place.
Well, Mobster, I thought we were doing some sort of fundraiser for you today, so they might still be complimentary by this afternoon. Mobster! The Detroit Motor City Lions are once again hosting the early turkey game special at 09-1. The Motor Cities have not been irrelevant since the year of the small potato. Is it time, Mobster, for the dun-dun-dun-dun to finally break with this tradition and give us a Thursday morning game that is worth watching? Mobster, your take.
Probably not. They're both shit. Anyway, what is this Thanksgiving shit anyway? I mean, you're celebrating all these heathens coming across from the other side of the world, causing havoc with Geronimo and company, and we all celebrate it, have turkey. We actually have I'll tell you this, in Scotland we actually have a dance. It's called the Butterscotch and Thistle dance we had in whenever what you call it, you don't need a mask. Well, it makes it look better. We have a dance, Butterscotch and Thistle dance on Thanksgiving Day. Fuck knows what it does, but we have it. I don't even know what they do. But anyway, back to Thanksgiving, and you've got Roger Goodell, who seemingly makes 65 million. What does he know about the heathens and the patriots and the Red Indians and whatever you call them? Well, he's got 65 million a year. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants a commercial day and make more money. So this is what it's all about, money. And you need it to come in here for a beer, I'll tell you. But anyway, I don't know I don't care. Detroit shit, Chicago shit, Tennessee's still going to win it.
As always, peeps, this has been a minute with the mobster.
Well, it's never a minute. That was shit.
What's going on behind the glass, mobster?
Everyone can hear you.
What? What's wrong with that?
All right, peeps, thanks, mobster. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch up with you later. 3 ginormous...
the bank to get a loan.
Attaboy. 3 ginormous games on the docket today, peeps. We are going to get to them all. We are going to cover them all. Week 12. In the... All right, as mentioned, 3 ginormous games on the docket today. Let's kick it off with the early bird special. We've got the 3-7 monsters of the Midway. The Bears traveling to Detroit to take on the 0-9-1 Motor City Lions. Bet365, unofficial lines provider of Iron's Perfect Picks, shows us that the Bears opened on the road as a 3.5 point play. Some money is trickling in on the Motor Cities. It is now the Bears less 3. This game is very similar to the one we covered last week, which involved the Miami Dolphins. And who were they playing? It doesn't really matter. I think it was the Jets. Jets. And somebody had asked me, how do you determine, Iron, when handicapping, who is the better team in those scenarios? And what I said to you last week is, the key is not trying to determine who the better team is, it's trying to determine who the worst team is. And that's what we've got here. And by and far, the worst team in this matchup is the Motor City Lions. Somebody once told me, and I heard it this week in the mailbag, which, we're holding off till Sunday, that the Lions are due. And this is a game they can win. When you are 0-9-1, the only thing you are due for is another severe beating. It's as simple as that. I got told, and you'll remember, the Rags who've been with this show from day one, remember it was 3-4 years ago, the Cleveland Browns were in the midst of another 0-16. They were getting, oddly enough, the New York Jets, who were coming into town as a 2.5 point play. The Jets were awful. Browns were worse. Everybody was telling me the Browns are due, Iron. I said, they're due for another. I said, you want to bet somebody who's due? You bet the Washington Generals taking on the Harlem Globetrotters. There's a team that's due. You're not 0-9-1 and due for, and this line, by the way, is flattering the Motor Cities. It's great. Yeah, their last 2 games against Cleveland, who looked just dreadful. Pittsburgh, who looked just awful, tied that game. Good for them. If you think for a second that the Motor Cities, and some people are under the impression that the Motor Cities defend well at home on Turkey Day, think again. There's something like 2-11 in their last 13. The team is absolute trash. You're getting Andy Dalton at quarterback for the Bears. Jared Goff, game time decision. If Goff is going, you got to like the Motor Cities a little bit more. But even then, they haven't won a game. So whether he's starting or the next guy is, Boyle, who's just absolute trash, and if he starts, that 3-point line is a disaster for the Lions. Dalton looked good, 2 TDs last week against the Ravens. Bears could have won that game. They lost it with 22 seconds left to go. There's no reason to believe the Bears look. The Bears defense, we still know, is a top-flight unit. Dalton's a quality quarterback. He can get the job done. They'll be able to run it, they'll be able to throw it, but more importantly, they'll be able to defend it. 3 points is not a crap ton. Look, I get it, the Bears' offense isn't the best in the world, but the Lions is even worse. There's no reason to believe that the Chicago Bears can't win this thing by field goal. Bears played these guys, I want to say, in 2018, 2019, won both of these games. They won a game this year already against the same Lions. There is no reason in the world to believe that the Chicago Bears don't sweep the season series. Thank you. Kaylee is in the house. Thank you, Kaylee. And we said, come and see Kaylee. She pours the best drafts this side of the Mississippi River. And, all right, let's carry this. Very welcome distraction here in the studio from what I'm used to looking at Sure Shot. All right, thank you, Kaylee. Having said all of that, Pete, the Chicago Bears, less 3, get the check mark. All right, we're going to do one more for you. Only 3 today on the docket. We're going to do one more for you, then we're going to take the break. Since we're here at the fabulous Barrie Country Club, it gives you all of it, but the break is so short. So you might want to be asking Kaylee now for don't be rushing to Kaylee at the break. There's not enough time. There's still a big game to cover after the next one. You don't want to step away for a second. You know what? Remember Cole Edwards 2-3 weeks ago? Stepped away. Missed the segment on the Bengals-Jets game. He lost a crap ton betting the Bengals. Coley, I said, did you not listen to the show? He felt he could step away. Yeah, well, good for you. Enjoy taking out the loan. You can't afford to miss a second. All right, our next one for you. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Big D to take on the 7-3. How about them Cowboys? Bet365, unofficial lines provider of Iron's Perfect Picks, shows us that the Cowboys opened at home at a Thanksgiving 7.5 point favorite. A little bit of money came in on the Raiders. Line dropped to 7 this morning. Bit of pushback there. It's back to the Cowboys, less 7.5. We told you with the Raiders weeks ago, absolute frauds. Nothing has changed. If anything, they've solidified their position. It's a time of year, Pete, where I start telling you that what becomes important is your points differential, plus and minus. Remember on the show last year, the Raiders were a playoff contender right around this point of the season. And we told you that their points for versus points against was abysmal. They were an absolute fraud. It's no different this year. The Raiders are a combined minus 40 on the season at 5-5, losing their last 3, and that's how you get to be an absolute fraud. When you're getting hammered every game and you're 5-5 with a minus 40 differential, the wheels are falling off. The Cowboys, in a losing effort disappointing effort last week, by the way, we had big boarded the Cowboys. That did not work out well for us. But on the upside for this week, the Cowboys defense, in their last 3, by the way, have held opponents. They held Kansas City to 19, pretty impressive. 3 against Atlanta, 16 against whoever it was the week before that. And other than tripping up against the Denver Broncos, these guys are a cover machine at 8-2 in their last 10. And if you remember what happened after the Broncos setback, where, and you can't be world class every week, but remember, you're never as good as you look one week, you're never as bad. They came back and beat the Atlanta Falcons by 4. Now, the Raiders aren't Atlanta. As a matter of fact, they might not even be as good as Atlanta. The Raiders are in free fall. The defense can't stop anyone, and I mean can't stop anyone. It's catching up to them. The whole Gruden thing is catching up to them. The whole Ruggs thing is catching up to them. They looked good for a week when Gruden left. I think they just got the bump from when he was gone. Now they're coming back down to earth because, as I mentioned on this show a million times, coaching matters. And whether you like Gruden or not personally, the guy was a qualified coach, and he is now being missed. The offense of the Raiders, which was, and Derek Carr, remember we told you at the start of the year, Derek Carr was in the MVP conversation. He has fallen off the map, and terrible. And that's Gruden's impact, by the way. The minute Gruden left, that offense is so bad. We told you how good the defense has been of the Dallas Cowboys recently. If you look at the offense of the Raiders, they haven't put up more than 16 points in 4 weeks. So you've got, and Dallas's defense, by the way, we've been telling you for weeks now, are a surprisingly good unit. There's no reason to believe the Raiders are going to put any more than 16 on this team if they even get to that number. Listen, 7.5 is a lot of chalk to lay in this league. Your double-digit favorites, by the way, have fallen down. It's not double digits, but point being is they have fallen flat on their faces after getting off to a humongous start. The big numbers are always tough to lay, but in this case here, there's just too much on the offensive side, and every time Dax had a bad game, he's rebounded real smartly in front of the home crowd. Yeah, that's 7.5. The hook on the half is a concern, but I'm looking for a big effort from the Cowboys on both sides of the ball. Raiders don't have anything going on either side of the ball. In total free fall, we've told you, peeps, minus 40 point differential. That does not bode well against the Dallas team coming home after a loss to Kansas City. They're going to be looking to avenge that loss. They'll get it done here. Dak will get right. Yeah, only 9 points for the Cowboys last week. That all changes this week against that Raiders defense. Never thrilled laying 7.5, peep, at any time, but you're not giving me enough. Unless the Raiders were falling into double digits, I can't trust them, and I am not touching them. Dallas Cowboys, less 7.5, get the check mark. All right, we got one more for you to do, but before we get that, let's give you a chance to go talk to Kay. Don't go rush into Kaylee, one at a time, please. Let's not be, the bunker is packed, the peeps are pouring in. Let's go easy on Kaylee. Let's take the break, and then we'll be right back.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, peeps, and we are back. Little distraction here in the studio. One of the beauties of taping live, of course. All right, let's get to our final one. And this one game will be of interest to the locals as the hometown Buffalo Bills are involved. We've got the 6-4 aforementioned Buffalo Bills traveling to Nolens to take on the 5-5 Saints. Bet365, unofficial lines provider of Iron's Perfect Picks, shows us that the Bills opened on the road as a 4.5 point play. Money is pouring in on the Buffaloes as if the fanboys and girls have already seen the final score. It is the Bills less 6.5. We're going to go back to what we said previously in reference to the Dallas Cowboys, and it's the same thing here with the Buffalo Bills. You are never as good as you look one week, and you are never as bad. And man, did they look bad last week, getting absolutely punched in the face by the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we did tell you on the show last week that the Colts were the play. We actually big boarded the Indianapolis Colts. That's how much we like them on both sides of the football. But we certainly weren't expecting that abysmal a performance by the Buffalo Bills. What you've got on the other side of the field is problem. New Orleans at 5-5. And remember I told you last week, teams in this position now are starting to get desperate. So you've got to be careful when you're capping these games. When there's a certain sense of desperation, teams tend to put their best foot forward. Well, you got a problem here if you're the Saints, because you know who's just as desperate as you are? It's the Buffalo Bills. At 6-4, they have now lost the lead in the AFC East. If the playoffs were to start today, peeps, the Buffalo Bills are the number 7 seed. They lose this one, and they are in big trouble. Now, it's not to say that the New Orleans Saints don't want it just as bad, but here's the problem you've got if you like the Saints today. We know all-world running back Alvin Kamara is out. That has killed the Saints in their last 3 games. We know Winston is out. That has killed the Saints in their last 3 games. But here's the biggest problem you've got now. And this is why the line jumped, by the way, by 2 points. It's Mark Ingram. They went and got Ingram from the Houston Texans a few weeks, brought him back, and he's a nice compliment to Kamara. He's not Jonathan Taylor. He's not a number 1 starting running back. But what's worse than that is he's now a game-time decision. And if he's even going, he's not going at 100%. That Buffalo Bills defense, despite getting shredded by Jonathan Taylor, and the Saints don't have anybody near that quality, is still a great run defense. On the other side of the football, of course, Buffalo Bills are having all kinds of trouble running the ball as well. They have all year other than Josh Allen, but that's okay because nobody runs it on the Saints' number 1 run D anyway. That's not a big deal. So what you've got left here, Pete, is you've got Josh Allen versus Trevor Simeon. Josh Allen with a full and healthy offense and a full and healthy defense and his crew of wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, etc. Who do you like better? As bad as Allen's looked lately, who do you like better? Do you like Josh Allen or Trevor Simeon with no one? No one to hand it off to, no one to throw it to. You know what? If all things were equal and the New Orleans Saints were a healthy football team, we would be grabbing those points with the Saints so fast it would make your head spin. But unfortunately for the Saints, and it's tough going into New Orleans and picking up a W. It's not an easy place to play. They are just undermanned for this game. The Bills are as desperate as they are. Josh Allen, kind of a la Dak a little bit, tends to bounce back after a really bad game. You know, he had a half-decent one against Miami after they somehow lost to Jacksonville. Had a stinker last week. Looking for him to be able to do a little bit more this week. The Saints just can't answer. Again, it's on the road. It's on Turkey Day in Nolens. It's tough. Laying 6.5 is not really exciting. But we have no options, peeps. You can't back the Saints with under a converted touchdown. I mean, if you were giving me the Saints and say 9, yeah, I'd roll the dice on the Saints. But for Buffalo to win this game by 7 points, if they're going to get back in the playoff race in the AFC, if they're going to get back to challenging the New England Patriots, who've got a tough one this Sunday against Tennessee, this is a must-win. And yeah, I know it's a must-win for the Saints as well, but they don't have the horses. We've got no options here, peeps. The Saints are a nice little football team, and they're a very good team when healthy, but they are not healthy right now. Buffalo Bills and the local peeps here are going crazy, cheering that yours truly is behind the Buffalo Bills today. Bills less 6.5, get the check mark. All right, 3 ginormous games on the docket. We got to them all. We have covered them all. Let's get you to our super fun 3-game parlay, and then we're going to let you enjoy the day here at the fabulous Barrie Country Club. All right, peeps, we are back. Our fun 3-game parlay, if you've been paying attention to the show, and of course, why wouldn't you? Although Kaylee can be a bit of a distraction for those of you who are here live. For those of you who are in studio land, listening on your iPhones or whatever device you like, there's no excuse for not having been paying attention. So here we go. We are putting on the square pants today. Hate doing it, peeps, but we got no options. We just don't see enough value on the dogs. We are giving you in our 3-team parlay the Chicago Bears +3 against the Motor Cities. As we mentioned, when you are 0-9-1, the only thing you are getting ready for and are due for is another beatdown. Bears are better on both sides of the ball. I'm looking for Chicago to walk away with a fairly easy W here. We're giving you how about them Cowboys +7.5. We know it's a big number. Never thrilled about laying that hook over the 7 points. Got no choice. The Raiders are absolute frauds. Cowboys tend to bounce back big after a poor, and I'm not going to say it was a poor performance. The offense underperformed. The defense was world class. Raiders are going to have no answers for the Cowboys in Big D today. Cowboys +7.5, and the last one, as we just mentioned, we are giving you the Buffalo Bills +6.5. Fairly simple, peeps. Trevor, Simeon, Josh Allen. Simeon with nobody. Allen, team healthy on both sides of the ball. Who do you like better in that matchup? I agree. Buffalo Bills +6.5. Now remember on that 3-game parlay, peeps, we always tell you play that with caution. It's a fun thing we do on American Turkey Day, but caution, know your limits, peep. Please play within it. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us today. We hope you've enjoyed our fabulous Turkey Day special. Very nice sure shot here, and we'd like to thank the fabulous Barrie Country Club for hosting us here today. On behalf of our executive producer, Maddie Sure Shot Aldershaw, our technical producer, the Loch Ness Mobster, sound check technician, DMAC14, unofficial lines provider of Irons Perfect Picks, Bet365, ScriptoBall.com, when your balls just have to be scriptoed, BarryUncovered.ca, and Infinity Printing. Peeps, have a great American Turkey Day, and may all your picks be winners.